Hi, friends. I'm so glad to be here with you. We have officially started. We are in week 1 of our WellFed support group. I realize a lot of you are planning to follow along online, and I want to make sure that there's content for you and also to make you feel included. So today I've invited my husband to throw some questions at me that relate to the topic that we're covering in week 1. I have no idea what he's going to ask me, and I think that's part of the fun. So let's just find out what he's got for me and cover some of the topics that we're going to be touching on in this week. As always, if you have any questions, any feedback, or you just really need some one-on-one conversation or advice, please reach out. I'm available to you for that. So let's get started. Robert, what do you have for me today?
Yeah, how you doing, Heidi?
I'm doing great. I'm very excited about this week 1.
And I think this is really important for some of the people that are following along, just to get a better sense of who you are and also what the program is really all about, what you're trying to accomplish here.
Right. We've had some questions already from some people that have begun week 1, and they were really good questions and questions that I expected. But I also understand if you're at home and not in person with the other group, you're not going to have the same access to those questions. So I figured I would cover those for you here. I want you included.
So here we go. We have question number 1. What inspired you to initiate a focus on self-discovery?
Why I started with that.
Yep.
I was very deliberate in selecting that as step 1 in the building blocks. I believe that it's very important that we have a good foundation in place before we really get into the nitty-gritty of our journey to joy, as I like to call it. Along the way, we're going to really touch on some deep topics, things that could potentially bring up a lot of emotions. It's going to bring up memories, and a lot of people could really struggle with that. Having a certain foundation makes those things a lot easier to address. The reason I've chosen this one is I found that a lot of times we forget who we really are underneath all the things that we put on in our attempt to cope with the things that life has thrown at us. So the self-discovery is basically taking off all of the things that we've put on in an attempt to adapt to our surroundings and survive in this world. So we're going to shed all those things, and we're getting down to basics to who you really, really are. I think it's vitally important that we all have a really good understanding of who we are at our core without influences from the world around us or other people around us, or due to reactions to situations that may not have been pleasant. So for me, I found that it was vitally important that I really find out who I am. So I'm going to challenge you to do the same.
Perfect. Here's number 2. How do you believe that self-awareness contributes to the overall healing process?
It's simple, really. You will never heal. You will never find your way to the joy that I'm hoping is waiting there for you at the end of this journey unless you discover exactly who you are. I found that humans far too often try to adapt to their surroundings. They try to fit in, which means they're not authentically true to exactly who they are. I had to shed all of that and put myself out into this world as me, not a version of me, not the me that I chose to be because of the people around me. I had to get comfortable being exactly who I am. It's uncomfortable to do that at first, so I'm hoping this will be your first step into finding out exactly who you are, so you too can be comfortable in your own skin, in your own shoes, because I can't wait to meet that person. What else you got for me, Robert?
All right. Can you share your personal experience with journaling or self-reflection and its impact on your journey so far?
Oh, for sure. I'm really glad you asked me this question. This was brought up by somebody in our in-person gathering, and there was a concern that, what in the world am I supposed to write for 15 minutes? Some people thrive on that. Some people could sit down for half an hour and write and write and write. Other people, like myself, we can't do that. Think of that 15 minutes of journaling this way. It's your time to take 15 minutes to sit with your thoughts and start sifting through them so you can get a good understanding of what's underneath some of those thoughts that come to mind. For me, a lot of my journaling isn't actually writing on paper. I journal in my mind as I sort through it. I am absolutely ADD and I've got a million things going on at one time in my head, and making myself stop for 15 minutes to just sort through what's all up in there helps me index it and catalog it. And I start to find reasons for my reactions. So the journaling's going to look different for everybody. Some people hate it, and guess what? That's fine. You don't have to love it. In fact, you can sit there and write down words that come to mind, write down random thoughts. If you simply come up with, I really hate journaling, write that down. And then I'm going to challenge you to sit and think, why do I hate this so much? Is it literally I hate the act of having to write things down? Or is it more like I didn't really want to stop and think about some of the things that go through my mind? We need to get comfortable going there. This is a safe place to do it, and it's also necessary. So again, don't be put off by the journaling. Think of it as 15 minutes a day set aside for just you. It's your time to take a breather, to regroup, to get refocused and a reset. And I think you might be surprised some of the insights that you find when you just sit and allow yourself to truly accept the thoughts in your mind, to work through them, and then go a little deeper and find out what's causing these thoughts and where are the roots.
So I know journaling can be one of those things, right?
Yes.
So what advice would you give to somebody really that's brand new to journaling, has never done it before, and now you're asking them about this 15 minutes?
Right. Oh, that can sound like a whole lot, or you may have concerns that, well, what if I do it wrong? Guess what? You're in the right place. There is no right or wrong when it comes to journaling. Think of it this way. On the first day, even if you just take one thought that you have, write that one thought down and just sit with that for a while. If that's all you do, that's okay. Or if you're a doodler, I'm a doodler, it's just random shapes, squiggles, or whatever. Go ahead and let yourself do that. For me, that actually helps my thought processes. So again, don't get caught up in the right or wrong aspect of journaling. Use it as a mental journal, a written journal. You can even speak it out loud, however works for you. This is your process and your journey to really finding out who you are at the root of it all, so the world can have the pleasure and the privilege of getting to know you as that person.
So in talking about session one here, like how do you envision self-discovery unfolding throughout this session? And like, what is it really that you hope people that are participating, what do you hope that they will gain from it?
Oh, I actually love that question a lot. My hope is that through this self-discovery that you plant a seed that continues to grow. What I found for myself is when I started figuring out exactly who I am, I was really surprised at what I found. And once I learned to embrace and accept who I was and what it was about me that was unique or made me the individual that I am, and I got comfortable with it, the more I wanted to know about myself. And it made it easier for me to go deeper. It made it easier to shed all the external expectations we often eagerly put on ourselves so other people will accept us or like us. But then people never get the benefit of knowing who we truly, truly are, and you never get the pleasure of meeting yourself. My hope is that you embrace the concept of self-awareness, because it is the most important tool that's going to be in our toolbox as we take this journey. The entire 24 weeks, beginning to end, is founded on self-awareness and understanding of who you are, why you react to things the way you do, how to break the bad habits, and how to shed the parts of you that really aren't even you. and allow yourself to be comfortable and to shine as the person that you are, as your unique, amazing self. So that's my hope for that.
So as we're talking about some of those personal insights and that sort of thing, could you share some personal insights from yourself?
Wow.
Of moments of self-discovery that along your journey that were meaningful and healing and...
Yeah. The journey to self-awareness can be very uncomfortable, and I found that to be true for myself. I had to get really real with myself and realize that a lot of what I did was reactionary. Once I allowed myself to get underneath my thoughts, I started to recognize that a lot of what I do is because I was looking for acceptance, I wanted to belong, and I wanted to fit in. What that did is it caused me to live a life that wasn't even real because it wasn't really me. So as I did that, it caused me to then go into the roots of it all. Where did that stem from? And for me, that had to go all the way back to my childhood. And in that process, I learned to undo everything that caused me to become somebody that felt they had to adapt and change in every situation, and instead helped me to become a person that is fully comfortable now to just be who I am. It's kind of funny that it took me 50 some years to finally be Heidi. It should be the easiest thing in the world to simply be yourself and who you were created to be. But I promise you, I don't think anybody that's going to start in these classes is going to find out that they are exactly themselves. I think you're going to find out that, like me, you're wearing an awful lot of armor in an attempt to fit in and not let people see those things that you may call ugly or undesirable. So for me, I had to learn to be open. I had to learn to be comfortable with my ugly portions of life. And I had to really accept and understand that I'm very reactionary. I will immediately, at the drop of the hat, react to something because of old behaviors, old habits, and of what other people did to me. So I found out I was actually almost punishing people for what other people have done years and years and years ago. That isn't fair to them, and it's not fair to me. It kept me from living my life. So for me, self-discovery, I found at the end of my journey, was the most vital and important step that I ever took, and without it, I was never going to get to this finish. And I believe the same is going to be true to you. So I look forward to helping you along your journey.
So how can participants use that self-awareness now to better understand their unique qualities and also maybe some aspirations that they have for this journey, for themselves as they go into this land of the unknown, right?
Right. I know it's going to be odd and it's going to be uncomfortable at first, but I hope that you use it to discover the things that aren't you and set those to the side. That allows the true you to come to the forefront. I know it's uncomfortable, but get used to it because I really want you to get to know who you are. Allow those thoughts and those dreams to be in your mind, like that 15 minutes of journaling. For me, I found out I was called to ministry. It was shocking to me, like literally shocking. I sat with it for the longest time because it didn't make sense. Then I realized it didn't make sense because I was looking at it through the lens of not that self-awareness, just what would other people think? I'm not good enough. I had this past life, all of that junk in there that keeps you from finding out what you really were called to. Now that I am in ministry, I can't imagine not being in ministry. And it's the craziest thing. The joy that I get out of being authentically me, stepping into my calling when it was the most uncomfortable thing I have ever done in my entire life, and then finding out that I have no greater joy than doing exactly what it is that I was called to do is something I wouldn't give up. So for you and your journey, it's my hope that you're going to find out those special things about you. Each of us has gifts. Every single one of us has a special and unique talent that this world needs. And I pray that you discover exactly what that is in your life so you can embrace that. Step into that because the world needs you. The world needs what you bring to it. So let's show the world who you are underneath it all, the raw, authentic, beautiful self that's inside all of us, and just shine. Step into your calling and be everything that you were created to be. I promise you, you will never want to go back to the old ways. I promise. It's very uncomfortable at first. I'm not going to lie. There's times you're going to get mad at me. I can guarantee you, because I got mad at myself and the things I asked myself to do. There's going to be tears, and maybe a lot of tears, and trust me, I still shed them at times. But self-awareness now is a habit in my life. I will catch myself in my reactionary mode to things, and I stop myself now, and I immediately go to my thoughts and get to the root. What's really causing this? Quite often, it's not the situation that caused it. It's what I carried into it. So once we start breaking those old bad habits because we're practicing this self-awareness and self-understanding, life gets so much better, so much easier, and we don't get knocked off our path nearly as easily, and we don't stay down as long either.
All right, this is the last question I got for
one
you.
more, okay.
And this kind of ties into what you were just talking about. Just like, what are your thoughts on the potential impact of self-discovery in helping people, the people that are going through your course, really just embrace that life filled with joy?
Oh, man. What I found out is once you get back to the very beginning and you discover the beautiful, glorious creation that you are, you're not going to look at yourself in the same lens as you did before. Humans tend to be very self-critical. We tend to be very negative when it comes to ourselves. And a lot of us will beat ourselves up because we've learned to loathe ourselves. For me, I came to loathe myself because I was trying so hard to be something and somebody that I was not. Truly authentic people can be truly joyful people even when life isn't perfect, even when hard things happen, because at the end of the day, we have a confidence in who we are and whose we are. God created you. God looked at you and said, this is very good. God looked at you and said, I love you so much, child of mine. And he has filled you with so much talent, and he has given you gifts, and he has a calling for you that this world, as I said before, this world needs. I think, too, a lot of you will find out you're going to be people that other people are going to need when you come out of the other side of it. Self-awareness, again, I'm going to stress this all the way through, is critical to finding your joy. It's time to shed these fake lives that we live. Be authentic. Use myself for an example. What did I do? I'm never coloring my hair again. I don't wear makeup hardly ever anymore. I wear what I want. And I'm no longer trying to please everybody. What I found in that is not what I thought. I thought that when I started living authentically as just me, when Heidi finally showed up in the world, I thought that I'd be walking basically solo, that people weren't going to really like me all that much. I'm brought to tears nearly every day at how much the opposite happened, and I have so many beautiful and amazing people in my life, and I've come to realize that authentic people who truly are confident in who they are, what their calling is, what their unique talents are, draw people. There's something about them that's appealing to people. And I've had conversations with others about it. And then I realized it's the authentic. That's what people are craving. We've become so accustomed to fake, covered up, all the other things, that when we see something that's the real deal, we like it and we want to get near it. So buckle up, everybody. We're going to get this journey to self-awareness underway, and let's get you on the other side so you, whatever your name is, can walk your authentic journey to joy. I promise you, it will be worth the hard work. Perfect. If you have any other questions or comments on anything, please, please, please just reach out and ask me. I will get back to you. I promise. You can ask me anything, and I mean anything. Reach out with any issue, any struggle. If you need prayers over something, please just let me know. There is nothing that will shock me, nothing that will put me off. I'm pretty much bomb-proof at this point in my life. I'm just really glad you're here. I look forward to being back with you next week to cover the new topic we have then. Bye.